Hi everyone, it's JG here with Earth 5D University, back for another teaching where you are the light, you are the path, and you are the way forward, friends. My name is JG. I do tarot readings. I'm also a spiritual teacher and a spiritual coach, helping you all to find your path to the light within yourself, to live your happiest life, to become conscious of how to create reality and create a life that makes you happy, friends. A life that's in alignment with your soul's calling, with your soul's mission. So today I wanted to talk about something, an old adage that I believe is the greatest spiritual teaching of all time. And that adage is to know thyself. Simple, right? To know thyself. So why were the Greeks so fixated on that? Why did the Greeks spend so much time talking about knowing thyself? Why is that so important? So let's get right into it. Let's discuss this. Above the temple of Apollo in Delphi was an inscription that said, know thyself. And I believe that that adage was linked to Plato and Socrates, but I really think that that is a much older expression, to know thyself, than the Greeks. And I think it's a very ancient thought. And there's many reasons for that, but the one that I want to call you towards today, and I want to draw your attention to, is that some people, friends, they go through their whole life. They live and they die. They might live and die many lifetimes if that's something you believe in. I do believe in multiple lives. And so there will be people who will literally live and die many times without knowing themselves. And how sad is that, right? Because you are, in this lifetime, a soul that's embodied in a human body. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. And so we have the unique perspective here to get to know our individual selves. We have the opportunity to know who we are and why we're here. And that can be a very glorious and amazing and enlightening experience, right? That is something that we can live to do, to learn to understand who we are. And by doing that, we can take that knowledge with us. We can take that cellular soul knowledge with us beyond this lifetime. When we say to know thyself, what are the advantages of that? Okay, first of all, the main advantage of that is that, and why I believe it is the absolutely most fundamental spiritual teaching, is because in knowing ourselves and learning who we are, we learn our divinity. And we learn what it means that God, source energy, whatever you believe in, Jesus, Muhammad, that energy of divinity lives in us and comes through us. We are the living temple. We are the living prayer. And so when it comes to finding meaning in your life, when we seek external things and material things to make us happy, we often fall very short, because it's not even the material things that truly bring us the most satisfaction. In fact, it's understanding the God within us, understanding the divinity within us, God, Goddess within us, that we can have this doorway to freedom. And it's not like we're trying to escape our humanity. It's not it, because our humanity is a beautiful gift to us. I do believe that a lot of us are racing to come to Earth, where it's a privilege to be here, and we're very fortunate to have a place here on Earth. And so I know that that's a tough concept for a lot of you who don't feel at home here. At the same time, it is understanding our divinity within that helps us to make sense of the outer world. And so to know thyself means to understand, number one, that we are divine beings. We are a soul having a human experience, and we are a divine being having a human experience. Big soul, little tiny body, right? Huge soul fit into the small, teensy, tiny being. this 5'10" being, or 5 foot, whatever, however, 4 foot tall, 5 feet tall person you are. So massive soul into this tiny being. So understanding our divinity helps us to add context to why we're here and what we're doing. And it helps us not only to value ourselves, but to value others, right? Because we are one confluence of energy as human beings. We don't stand alone. We are all merged together in a confluence of energy. And so we are connected. So to know thyself means to understand, number one, that we are divine. And so I can tell you that all day long, but until you try to discover it yourself, until you ask the question, you won't know. It's a personal discovery. So that is my invitation. Number one today is when you ask the question, know thyself, who am I? When I ask the question, who I am, and I begin to look within, what am I? Who am I? Who am I? That's there's a character I'm being shown, I'm getting that psychic impression of the character in Breakfast Club. I know some of you weren't 80s kids or 90s kids, but if you grew up in the 80s, a Breakfast Club was like the thing to watch. It's a John Hughes movie, and it's one of the best. So the dean asks themselves, who are you? And you're supposed to answer that question, who am I, right? And so we're all sort of trying to figure out who we are and to know ourselves from when we're very young. And so you are more than just your personality. You're more than your personality. Another thing about knowing yourself, another movie reference, if you find yourself in Groundhog's Day, right? You're just living, you feel like you're just living the same experiences over and over again. Why is that, right? Why are you living the same experiences over and over again? Why are you stuck living the same thing? The same relationship patterns. Maybe you're repeating the same problems that you saw your mom and dad engaged in. Or your community. Why are you reliving these patterns? Why is your life like Groundhog's Day, right? And so if you are tired of being stuck in patterns, if there are energies that you want to change in your life, if you want to create different experiences than your parents, if you want to create a different reality than your parents or your community, then when you get to know yourself, then you can identify the patterns that you inherited epigenetically potentially from your parents, and that were certainly modeled to you. And when you begin to know yourself, you can change. Like if you always find yourself in a certain type of relationship, new relationship, different face, different name, but why are you repeating the same damn thing over again? Right? Or the same job, the same boss. Like, why do you keep reliving these same stuck situations? Know yourself. So rather than reacting out here to the external circumstances, when you look within yourself, when you go within and you discover, who the hell am I here? Why am I living these patterns? Why am I repeating myself over and over? I want a different version of reality that doesn't involve the same crises that my parents played out. Or maybe I'm so triggered by what my parents lived out that I'm afraid to create my own reality because I don't know who I am. And so without knowing yourself, how do you know what you prefer? How do you even know your preferences? How do you know what you want out of life without knowing yourself? So that's another reason, right? That's why another reason why you want to know yourself. You want to know, who am I? What is this path to divinity inside of me? Why am I connected to all things? What's all this about, right? And then the second thing is, how do I break these patterns, right? And then the last thing is very close to the second thing, but it's, how do I know what potential I'm here to live? How do I know that I'm just not repeating what society told me I am? How do I know that I'm my own sovereign, conscious being, living my own free will? So your free will and activating your free will is a part of becoming a fully conscious human being. You get to decide. You get to have your own free will. So the third thing is, how do you become self-actualized? How do you become the very, very best version of you? You not only are you trying to avoid the patterns of your parents' mistakes, but how do you become now the very, very best you, so that you actually know who you are, so you're not a foreigner to yourself. Because there's only so many external things that you can manipulate to try to find comfort within. There's only so many things that you can look for externally. The cars, the homes, the possessions, even the friendships, even the love relationships, super important, right? But you bring yourself to every single one of those. If you don't know who you are, your family isn't going to know you. How would your lover know who you are if you didn't begin to know who and what the heck you're doing here? Who are you? So many of us try to find that in a relationship with someone else. Can we find it in a relationship? Absolutely. We are mirrored who we are. But if we're like, for instance, goes into number 2, if we're not liking the types of people that we're drawing into our life, we have to look within and say, who am I? That all these people are mirroring this aspect of me that I'm not appreciating or enjoying. So you can't really manipulate the external things and expect your life to really change, because life changes from within yourself. Number 2 is avoiding, the problems and patterns of your parents and the mistakes of the community or the people that went before you. And the third thing is to becoming truly yourself, to become self-actualized and live a life that you feel is authentic and free. You deserve to be free. You deserve to be different and individuated from all other people, because no one has your own unique imprint on life. No one is going to be bringing to life what you can uniquely bring. When you learn to know thyself, you know your divinity, you know how to break patterns that you don't want to replicate and recreate. And number 3, you learn how to be self-actualized. You learn how to truly become free to be yourself, whether you're an artist, whether you're a business person, whether you're both, right? Whether it's not even really a career, whether you're funny, whether you're a family person, like all those things you get to create uniquely inside of you. Are you divine? Are you living your divinity? Are you mirroring that to the world so that that gets reflected back to you? So, friends, know thyself. And if you need help learning to know yourself, to influence those parts of your life, feel free to check out my website. I offer spiritual guidance, spiritual coaching, readings, all kinds of things to help you to become fully who you are and to change those aspects that no longer serve you. I hope this has assisted you. Make sure you drop a comment below. If you have questions for future videos, please leave them below. I care about answering questions that are on your heart and mind. So I'm sending you so much love and light, friends. Take care.